Don't worry. We're live, right? All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this classroom. I am not supposed to be the facilitator for this class, but apologies, the facilitator is running a bit late. Before he arrives, I think we can start something, and then we'll see what we have to be able to achieve. Now, before I go any further, let me first introduce myself as Suleiman Hayat. Um, and, and I'll be taking this particular class, which is what is the class again? Software development. So in this class, we're going to learn a lot of things like how do you develop a software? Why do you develop a software? What is even a software to begin with? Okay, so the class is going to be interactive. Those of you online, I can see your comments, and I will respond to you. I will respond to you as the class is progressing. So if you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay. Those of you that are physical, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Now, one of the things that I've seen with trainees and students alike is that trainees tend to think, if I ask this question now, people laugh at me. And it doesn't matter if someone laughs at you. In life, someone will always laugh at you. It doesn't matter, really. If you think about it, what does it do from your health? What does it do from your knowledge? It's embarrassing, yes, I agree. But that is the end of it. Now, which one is more important? Getting the knowledge or being embarrassed? Getting the knowledge, right? That is the most important part of what? Life. That is the important part of what? Any training. Getting the knowledge. And you get to realize that a lot of students and trainees alike tend to shy away from asking questions. Hey, if I ask this question now and they laugh at me now, everybody will know me as the person that asked that question. Believe you me, in the next 1 week, everybody will forget. Only rare occasions you see situation whereby somebody remembers something because of because it's funny or because. But apart from that, hardly you see people remember things that are not very important. If, as a matter of fact, you receive a lecture today, you write a quiz today, and some people will still fail it. Why? That is an important thing that you're supposed to remember, but some people will still forget it. So please, no matter how stupid you think your question is, believe you me, the first person to propose how a plane will work received the biggest laugh. Because people started, I want to create something that will fly. And the people said, this guy, he don't do good, right? And right now we have planes. Imagine the first one that proposed a phone. Imagine how people look at the person. You want to propose it? I'm in Abuja and talk to somebody in Kasina, or Sokoto, or Zamfara, or Lagos, or Rivers. That is preposterous. It's super funny. In fact, you have drunk something. There isn't phone now, right? So the point I'm trying to give out here is no question is what? Is useless. Any question you think in your mind you don't know, feel free to ask. Okay? And for my online people, those that are coming in now, because previously we had some few number of students, and now we are at 24 and counting. I believe if you have questions, please ask so that we can be able to answer the questions for you. Now, as I was saying, this particular class is called Introduction to Software Engineering. So it's bringing you up to what software engineering is. Let me get my notes. Let me see. Real quick. My bad. Process problem solving. Nope, not this way. Huh. All right, no problem. Just give me a moment. Let me get to my classroom. Now, this class is going to introduce you to a lot of things. So you need to jot some of them down. Introduction to software engineering. Um, first content, chapter 1. This slide. Hannatu, can you moderate the online aspect of it so that we know what the online people are seeing? Okay. I hope you can hear me clearly. Sorry, this is one of my old notes from when I was working with Alan. So bear with me. All right. Those online, can they see what I'm presenting? Can you see my screen? All right, beautiful. Introduction to software engineering. Now, the objective of this particular class is you're going to learn what is software, what is software engineering, what constitutes a software product, what software engineering to begin with. Characteristics of what? A good software what? Engineer. I believe you can read, right? So whenever I pause, I expect you to complete the sentence. That way I know you are part of the class and you are understanding what I'm trying to say. Those of you online, if I pause, you just pause too because even if you shout tomorrow, I'll not be able to hear you. Okay. Now, characteristics of what? A good software what? Engineer. Importance of what? Software engineering versus what? It's not a battle. Huh? When you see the verses, not Mike Tyson and the other guy that the box recently. Okay. Employment and roles of software who? Now, software engineering jobs, what? Self-skill test, right? And then thank you and what? All right. So now, software engineering definition. Can someone go through it for me? What is software engineering? So it says there are many definitions of what? There are many definitions of what? The basic definition of software engineering is defined as what? Approach to what? So it's what it is defined as a systematic approach to the development, operation, maintenance, and retirement of what? Software. So software can be retired, though it does not collect pension. Okay? Software can be what? Retired, but does not collect what? Pension. Okay? How do you retire software? How many of you know Windows New Millennium Edition? No? I don't know if you know Windows 98. Ah, how about XP? Windows XP. What about this Windows Vista? Anyone? What about Windows 7? Ah, that one you know. What about Windows 8? And then Windows decided to skip 9, and then they do what? 10, and then what? 11. Now, if you notice, from Vista, I think, downward has been retired. It's hard, you hardly see an organization running on those operating systems. But at some point, they were the talk in town. Like everybody was talking about how great Windows XP is in comparison to what? Windows Millennium Edition. Many were happy when we started having GUI as part of our operating systems. Before, there was no GUI. So there is a lot of metamorphosis that happened in the software environment, and many fields were extracted from the software from software. Sorry, I'm receiving a call. I don't know. Those online, are they still with me? Okay. Now, the term software engineering is the product of how many words? 2 words, right? All right. And 2 words are what? Software, chairman. Software, I read the notes now. I read what I'm reading. The term software engineering is the product of what? 2 words, which is what? Software and engineering. So there is software and there is what? An engineering. Okay? Software is a collection of integrated programs. Software consists of carefully organized instructions and codes written by who? Developers. So the person that writes software code is known as what? Developer. Okay? On any of the various particular computer languages. Now, same way we have natural languages, computers have many languages. Right now in Nigeria, we have how many languages? Anyone? How many languages do we have in Nigeria? Does anyone know? That is an estimate. There are people in the bush that up to now progress have not reached to them yet. And you'll be surprised when you go places like Kebbi and the rest, where you get to learn that the new set of people were discovered. They're still tying bante in Hausa. They tie good skin and the rest, and that is their mode of dressing. That because up till now they have not reached, and they have their own language. It's not accounted for. So the same way we have natural languages, and we have many of them. That same way we have a lot of programming languages. Now there are same way we have many natural languages. That is our own system. There are those that are popular. Right now, there are about 4 of them that are very popular in the world. Right? Which one and which one and which one? In the world. Uh-huh. 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 The entirety of Europe is not half of China, and you guys forget Chinese. My God. And most of the things we use in Nigeria is made in where? China, you're forgetting Chinese. They'll stop selling you TV and the rest, and you start go back to dark ages. Okay? Now, the same way we have popular languages in the world, the computer languages also have popularity. You hear things like COBOL back in the day, you hear things like Fortran back in the day, you hear things like, and then recently you start to hear things like Python, things like React, things like PHP, things like Java, things like, these are all languages. And each of them perform a certain role in software development environment. Okay? You have people that specialize in what? In Python only. That is their specialty. You have people that their specialties in Node.js. That is it. They don't want to know the other programming languages. It's just like Nina that is trying to learn Yoruba and learn Igbo, but I don't have Yoruba friends or Igbo friends to teach me as of right now. And I'm always occupied by so many things. Okay. Now, these languages, you're going to learn some of them in this class. Okay. We're not going to teach you how to fly the plane, but we explain to you how you go about trying to fly the plane, and we even put you in the pilot seat, and you will pull it up. But you know, it's not taking the plane up that is the problem, it's landing. So before we land, we'll switch seats and then we'll see what we can do. But in this case, we will try our possible best to see that our trainees get the best skill they can get. And then knowledge is all about trying to come up with your own ideas and initiatives, okay? All right. Computer programs and interrelated documentation such as requirements, design models, and user manuals. Engineering is engineering is the application of scientific and the writing is too tiny? Ah. So how are we going to do? So you're late too. I woke up around 6. I kept telling doctor to call you. Let me finish this class. You're paying for this class. No, I'm being very, very blunt. Okay. All right. Those of you online are saying, okay, no problem. I think you can follow up with us, and then subsequently we'll give you the notes. That way you can be able to catch up. Okay? But I believe you can hear me. Yeah? No, not you that I hear. You are here, but you don't hear me. I will have to find somewhere and sit down. Those online I'm talking about, can they hear me? No, can they hear? If they can hear me, no problem, because I've used this before. So, all right. Now, engineering is the application of scientific and practical knowledge to invent, design, build, maintain, and improve frameworks and processes. Okay? That is engineering. Now, when you marry, is it possible for us to put our phones on silent, please, so that it doesn't do kiniko? Even my own this thing is doing. Okay, now. All right. So when you marry software engineering, you have what? Software engineering. And then if you combine these two definitions, what will you have? A more precise definition of software engineering is an engineering branch related to the evolution of what? Software products using systematic, well-defined scientific what? Principles, okay, techniques, and what? And procedures. The result of software engineering is an effective and reliable what? So at the end of it all, they want your end users want what? Effective and reliable what? Software product from you as software engineer. Now, let me give you a simple example of a software that's not reliable. Imagine you open your Facebook today. Out of nowhere, you see you receive alerts that you have transferred. When you open your Facebook, you see transfer successful, and then you receive alert from your bank that you have transferred money from so to so. Will you be happy? Will you open it again? Why? It's not effective. How many of you have transferred funds before and it takes a week or two before you get a reversal? Sometimes you even go to the extreme of going to the bank and you foam in your mouth. Some people even went and removed their shirts and what have you, just because of their because their money is frozen. They cannot be able to access the fund. It's not in their account. It's not in the other account. It's just in the air somewhere, right? It's not what reliable. So for you to be a software engineer, you need to develop a software that is effective and what? Reliable. Thus, to achieve an effective and reliable software, there are steps and procedures to follow. These steps are what constitutes a software product. They say a person no road, then the big bar. If you go follow blind person, now so I will go enter wall. Abi? Uh-huh. So the system is frozen. Now, what constitutes a software product? To achieve a reliable to achieve a reliable and effective software product, the software has to follow a rigorous development stage. The first stage is what? Getting the requirement. Getting what? The requirement. Once you get the requirement, then you analyze that requirement. Once you analyze the requirement, then you what? You design the analyzed requirement. I will explain. I'll come back and explain each and every one of these things to you guys. Then what? You code the design, and then you test the code, and then you deploy the tested code. Now, what does this mean? It sounds like jargons, right? Imagine we have a client. All of us here, we are one company. We have a client that says, let's name this company Group A. Let's name this company what? Group A, or the A group. And a client comes to us and says, Group A, I want you to develop a software for me. What would be your question? Exactly. Because when he says, I want you to develop a software for me, he's been what? Ambiguous. It can be a software for plain navigation. It can be what? A software for adding students. It can be a software for tracking citizens. It can be anything. It's just like you calling Uber, stopping a taxi and say, take me anywhere. I don't know if it makes sense. Are we together? Now, the first question you're asking is, what is this software going to do? That is you asking for what? The requirements of that software. Is you asking for what? The requirements. And he tells you, we want to develop this software for a school, a secondary school. Then now you see you've narrowed down to a specific domain that you're going to develop software for. Before time, most of us have gone through what? Primary school. We have some predefined knowledge of what primary school looks like. And then he says, I want you to develop a software for me for primary school that parents can pay tuition, students can view their results, parents can view their children's results, and so on and so forth. Now, you have gotten the what? The requirement of what he wants you to do. You already have a predefined knowledge of what the primary school is. So you know in primary school you have primary 1, 2, 3 to what? Is it 5 or 6? We will do 6. How many of you do 5? My generation did 6. How many of you did 5? Nobody here? You did 5? Burudin. Okay. Now, you know that in that software you're going to have something called classes. Because a student is assigned to where? A class. And you need to be able to what? Upload results. You need to be able to what? View results. You need to be able to what? Pay school fees. You need to be able to what? And so on and so on and so on. Now, you have gotten the requirement from the client. Okay? And if you remember, you are a software engineer. So, and the person that is developing code is known as who? The developer. So you're not doing the development, right? Okay, very good. Now, what comes after requirement? From my note here. Design the requirement, right? No, it's not design. Analyze the requirement. Now, sometimes you get a requirement, and then by the time you sit down and start thinking about it, you see that some things can be done in a certain way, some things can be done in another way, and then you look for the best approach, and you look for the best situations that might lead you to develop a what? A reliable and effective software. Okay? So you analyze all the requirements. Okay, he wants to be able to add students to the software because we're doing primary school software. So each student is going to have what? You need to know the student ID, you need to know the student's name, you need to know the student's age, you need to know his name, you need to know this, you need to know that. All those things, they're going to capture it as a what? As a written document. I don't know if I'm making sense. Hmm? Now, this is the job of someone called a system analyst. Okay? That is why whenever I see somebody studying software engineering, I try to ask, which part of software engineering do you want to go into? Though in Nigeria, we don't have that part yet. But elsewhere, we ask, which part of software engineering do you want to venture into? That way, we can be able to guide you best. We can be able to guide you best, okay? Now, after you're done analyzing the requirements, after you're done analyzing the requirements, then you what? You design it, right? Now, let me digress a bit. Let me go back a bit. Let me cite an example. Imagine you want to build this hall we're in right now. You have the money and you want to build this hall. What do you do first? What do you do first? Let's assume you want to build, you have the money. That is the only thing you have. What do you do first? You buy the land. Once you buy the land, then what? You consult who? An architect. And then when you consult an architect and tell him, and tell him, I want to build a hall. This is the land. Take money. Is that all? You have to tell him exactly how you want the hall to look like, right? I want the hall to have a restroom by the side, so that whenever somebody wants to excuse themselves, they have where to go to, right? Now, that is you telling the architect, this is my requirement. Now, the architect will probably jot it down as a side note, right? And then he will go back and what? Design it. Are we making sense? Now, imagine, instead of the architect to design it as a model or as something that they can see or the diagram, imagine the architect write it as in the form of novel for the person to read. How long do you think it will take the person to read and understand how the building is going to look like? It's going to be difficult. Even the civil engineers, by the time you give them that written note, they tell you, Chairman, do us an architectural drawing now so that we can be able to assess this thing easily. Abi? Because for somebody to describe in detail this hall, my brother, you're looking at about 30 pages. In detail, how the computers are going to look like, how the smartboard is going to look like, the distance from the floor to the smartboard's height, where it's supposed to stop, where the windows are supposed to be, how the light is going to look like, the sockets, the air conditioning, every little detail is written in the form of novel. And then you have to read it to understand what you are expected to do. How long do you think that will take you? A very long time. Now, imagine you give one civil engineer a written document and you give another one architectural drawing. Which one do you think will work faster? That is the reason why we design the software. That way, when the programmers are looking at it, they can easily understand that this particular software, this is what it does, this is how it does that function. Are we together? Does it make sense? All right, let's move on. Then, after analyzing, we code the software. Right? After design, we code the software, right? All of us know what coding is. Abi? Is there anyone that doesn't know what coding is so I can explain it a bit? Okay, let me explain it a bit because you'll be doing it a lot. Coding is all about telling the computer what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you bring out your phone and you want to open Zenith Bank app. When you tap on the Zenith Bank icon, it opens Twitter for you. Will you say that your phone is okay? Why? Because what it's supposed to do, it didn't do it that way. Hmm? I don't know if it makes sense. So for you to code, you are telling the computer, this is what I expect you to do when this event or when so and so happens. For instance, now, when you bring out your phone, press this power button and click on menu. You expect to see what? Menu. If you see your bank application come up and then you see transfer successful, you know there's a problem, right? Good. Now, that is coding. And that is what you're going to be doing in this particular class. Okay? Um, you test the code. Why do you test the code? Coding is massive. Okay? It is what? Massive. And as you're coding the software, you might make a mistake. Well, you're not doing the coding, the programmers are doing the coding. But maybe the programmer is coding something and then somebody come and tell him, yesterday, one police slap soldier. Say, police slap soldier, what can happen? No, this one just say, me, I better pass you, just for cargo. Say, him a good Christian, a good Muslim, so he don't do anything. Say, really? Hey, the last time when police slap soldier. Hey, if you see anything happen that day, they lock Banex. You understand? Now, he has moved his attention away from the coding. And as he's bringing back his attention, maybe he's trying to do something and he forgets and continue from where he stops. And then that thing he's supposed to do, most likely he forgot. Now, during testing, that is a stage where we find all those defects. Okay? That is the stage where we find all those what? Defects. Because if there is any problem, it's during testing that you figure them out. Our sisters that cook food, when students almost done, they used to bring a spoon and they put it inside the tin and they put it on their palm and then they lick it, right? What are they trying to assess? If the salt is okay, if the onion enter very well, if there's need to increase more maggi in there, right? Now, let's assume your in-laws are coming and your village people start telling you, add salt. Don't add salt, okay? Don't add salt. If not, by the time your in-law tells this, you say, this is our in-law. She's a big cook. Okay, so let's move on. So after testing is what? Deployment. You've tested the software, it satisfies all righteousness. Everything is done effectively. What comes next? You deploy it for the users to use. All right? You deploy it for the users to what? To use. Now, when you're deploying it for the users to use the software, you'll be able to see how the software is doing. And sometimes some problems you not notice them until the users have started using the software, right? And that calls for what? Maintenance. That calls what? Maintenance. Now, in software projects, usually there is a 10% maintenance fee. Even if you did not touch the code for that year, you expect them to pay you 10% maintenance fee. Because if they don't pay you that amount, when the software has problem and they call you to fix it, you charge them well. In fact, for some software engineers, they prefer, let them not get the 10% this thing, so that when something happens and there is need for fixing it, you charge. And sometimes you have client that says, develop the software for us, test it, do everything, and give us software. we will continue using it. If we need maintenance, we will invite you for maintenance. And then when they're supposed to invite you for maintenance, say, Kai, this guy should charge money. We no call him. We call Chibuzo. Chibuzo and Chukwuemeka and Kabiru. In fact, Chukwuemeka, Chibuzo, Kabiru, and Oluwale, those guys, they charge 10,000 naira. This guy is charging 300,000. And then the group comes in and then they touch the code, useless the code, and then it doesn't work. And say, not because, but let's call Chinonsu, let's call Sheung, let's call, and then they come and double the whole project. At the end of it all, they say, let's call the guy that did the project. By the time you come, you tell them this is not the code that I wrote. What happened? But you know, when we try to say, no problem, I understand you try to, now you try to pay me a huge amount of money to fix it. Otherwise, because you are the software developer or you are the software engineer, and if anything is faulty, you are supposed to be contacted. But then you're not contacted. So you can charge, okay? Now, after maintenance and update, then what? After maintenance and updates, then what? Then retirement. We talked about retirement now, are we? Maybe the software is no longer needed and they need to move to a newer version of the system or newer version. They've already developed a newer version. So they retire the old one, okay? And there are many ways of retiring a software. You can do an abrupt retirement where you just, one day you just stop using the old system and then you just move to the new system. Or you can do a handshake where you have the old system and the new system working simultaneously until you phase out the old one. Or you can allow the both of them to keep running at their own individual individual servers, okay? Where you have maybe version 1, and most of the people are on version 1 will remain on version 1, and then you have version 2. Most of the people are on version 2 will remain on version 2, and then version 3, and like that, okay? All right, let's move on. Why software engineering? The necessity of software engineering appears because of a higher rate in user requirements and the environment on which the program is working, okay? The necessity of software engineering appears because of high rate of user requirements. Now, every day someone has an idea and someone needs a software we build for his organization, for him personally, and you'll be surprised how many people want personal software developed for them. I'll give you a simple example. One of a colleague of mine is a software developer. He developed a software for his dad to keep track of his farmlands. So what they did is they drove in a Hilux and they go around the farm. As they're going around the farm, the software is what? Taking the geo map. And then once they're done with that, they go to the next one and the next one and the next one. At some point, that forgot some of his farmlands. So, what do you know? Huge programming, adaptability, cost, dynamic nature, and quality management. Okay? Huge programming. It is simpler to manufacture a wall than to a house or building. Similarly, as the measure of programming becomes extensive, engineering has to step in to give a scientific process. Now, let's use our is it smelting? Smelting. How many of you? I think that is the word. Oh, someone help me with Google, please. Smelting. The act of melting iron to produce something. Oh, now, if you go to our villages, you will see some of the smelters that has this thing that they'll be pumping with their hands, right? Some they'll be using like a bicycle and they'll be riding and then to be born into blowing fire. Now, up to date, you still see such kind of situations, right? But then recently I went to one village like that, and then I saw them using solar, those small solar panels, and then they created something that there is a fan inside, and then you connect it. There is a fan and a motor inside. You connect it to the solar panel, and then the fan turns and it blows air into the charcoal. And I was like, that's improvement. That is an engineering process. That pumping that person is doing, now that person can do other things. It's an improvement of what? The process. If the software procedure, adaptability, if the software procedure were not based on scientific and engineering ideas, it would be simpler to recreate new software than to scale an existing one. What does this mean? Assuming software was not developed using scientific approach, it would be easier for you to develop a new software than to update an existing one. Because you have things like, you have situations where you have data that is interconnected, and you make changes to one data, you will not know what that will break. So assuming we're not using engineering process, we will have problems when updating our software packages. Okay? Now, the cost. As the hardware industry has demonstrated its skill and huge manufacturing, has let down the cost of software and electronic hardware. But the cost of programming remains high if the proper process is not adopted. Now, now previously, how much does a phone cost? Remember you one knows. You're not talking about a phone. A SIM card alone was 35,000. Abi? Yeah. The only recharge card you can buy is 750 MTN. And you have to search for network. Yeah, you have to my dad used to go to one high area in our area, and then you try to call. You say hello, the other person say hello, it cuts 53 naira. Yes, true. True story. Like he tries to call somebody and the person say hello, he say hello, it costs 53 naira and some cobbles. And if not for Blue, that came in with a per second charging plan. You know? Is my audio not clear? Okay, let me have the mic. Sorry. Let me have the mic. I'm sweating. I don't want them to see my forehead. I have one here. Okay. If I will get one, I'll be very grateful, sir. Those of you online, please, if you cannot hear me, speak up. When we put on the microphone, and then we test to make sure you can hear clearly. Thank you, sir. Those online, can you hear me? Okay. Those of us online, are you with us? All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Can we continue? All right. Now, dynamic nature, the the continually growing and adapting nature of programming usually depends upon the environment in which the client works. If the quality of software is continually changing, new upgrade needs to be what? To be done in the existing one. Okay? Quality management. Now, The better procedure of software development provide a better quality a better and quality software products. Okay, let me give you an example. Imagine you see someone, you see some, you want someone to build a chair for you or a table for you, and then you see someone just carrying a saw and cutting wood without any measurement, and he's just cutting wood and trying to put a chair up or a table up. And then next to him, there's someone that is calculating the angles, trying to cut it based on the preferred angle and so on. Who will you give the job to do for you? Yeah, it takes measurement, right? Now, imagine developing a software without any scientific approach to it. You'll have a mess, a total mess. That is why we develop a software using those technologies. Okay. X-Sticks. How many of you know X-Sticks? Eh? Characteristics of who? The features that good software engineers should possess are as follows. Exposure to systematic method, that is, familiarity with software engineering principles, a good technical knowledge of the project's range or domain knowledge. Imagine someone asking you to develop an application for a bank, and you've never been to a bank. You don't know what a bank is. Let's assume you are maybe from my village, somewhere in Kasina, and out of nowhere, someone calls you up and say, "Come and develop a bank app for me." You don't know what transfer is, you don't know what withdrawal is, you don't know what anything is. Do you think that person will develop a good software for you? No. But all of us here have passed through primary school at some point. Even if not free education, nursery and primary school, you've passed through that, right? And you know what primary school looked like. So if you're asked to develop a software for primary school, you already have some domain knowledge of that particular area. As such, you provide a good software product. A good software engineer has to have good programming ability. You are not the programmer, but you need to be able to communicate to the programmer. And for you to be able to communicate to the programmer, you need to be able to what? Speak his language. Okay? You need to be able to what? Speak his language. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine a Fulani man in the bush. Experiment. A Fulani man in the bush. And then you sneak up on him and tranquilize the Fulani man. You tranquilize him. He doesn't know where he is anymore. You pick him up from the bush, maybe in Sokoto or in Kebbi or in Borno, and you put him on a plane and you drop him at Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and you put cameras all over the place to capture whatever he's going to do. When he wakes up, what do you think will happen? He'll be what? He'll be in shock first. Then he will what? To ask questions. Now, the first person he's going to go and meet is who? An Arab man wearing jalabia, white and white. And all of us in Nigeria growing up, we believe that angels wear white and white, and they are what? White. You see the problem is, you think he's in heaven, and the place look clean, with light everywhere, and cars that does not shout. I don't know if you understand. And then the ones that shout, they shout very well. So it will be a culture what? Shock. You think he's there. And then you try to talk to them and they speak Arabic. Hey, we have reached Malachi. We have reached the end. Abi? Uh-huh. Now, a good software engineer should be able to what? Have a good communication skills. These skills comprise of what? Someone. Oral, written, and what? Interpersonal skills. Now, for me, I find it weird that I talk very, very fast and I'm a software engineer. And some people don't tend to understand what I'm saying until they process it. So whenever I'm with people that I'm trying to gather requirement from, I'll have to start talking slowly and try to talk and adjust and make sure that they understand whatever I'm trying to say. And that puts a lot of burden on me because that is not my natural domain of speaking. Okay? In written, now thank God we have ChatGPT. Thank God we have what now? You type something, you tell ChatGPT, please help me polish this thing to sound like someone that is in serious need of help but doesn't want to sound desperate. And then ChatGPT will give you something flashy. You type what you want to type and then you ask it to expatiate and make it better. So written, you're covered. Except if you don't know how to use ChatGPT. And that one, if you don't know how to use ChatGPT and you're doing software engineering, my brother, you mechanically don't know how to use Spanner. If you're a software engineer that doesn't know how to use ChatGPT, you are like a mechanic that doesn't know how to use Spanner. Okay? So you need to learn how to use ChatGPT because it will help you a lot. At some point, some few weeks ago, I started sending my wife romantic messages. Very romantic. People were saying, and I was posting it on my status on WhatsApp. People were saying, hey, love one thing, that kind of thing. Very, very romantic messages. And then, like after like 3-4 days, I said thanks to ChatGPT. They said, not even type upset. So if you are not using ChatGPT, please start using it today. You can even ask it how to make a good soup to tell you. Where to get good things to tell you. All right. Software engineers should be able to motivate their team. Now, how do you motivate a team? That's the question. How do you motivate people? Anyone? How do you motivate? Not hype them, motivate them. That's Nigerian way. That is another Nigerian way. How do you show them results? You're supposed to work as a team. That is what I'm talking about. Encourage them. Have a listening ear. Some people don't need financial aid. What they need is someone to listen to them. That is all they need. And then you are the boss, you are the boss of the project, or you are the boss, and then you start doing. And then before you know it's going, your shoulder will be like this. Right? And then you climb a high horse. Right? And then before you know what's going on, they'll start seeing you like a demigod. Like, this guy is just. Right? But then sometimes if you sit down with them, you listen to them, you understand where they're coming from, you just realize that there was actually no problem. It's just a matter of listening. Sometimes you sit down with them. There was a student that posted on Facebook that he never knew that you can have dinner or lunch with your lecturer until you travel abroad and the lecturer invites them for lunch and he's one thing. So what is wrong with Nigerian lecturers? Right? What is wrong with Nigerian lecturers? Right? All right, let's move on. Sound knowledge of fundamentals of what? Computer science. Now, let nobody deceive you. Computer science was extracted from mathematics. Software engineering is a child of what? Computer science. Okay? And under software engineering, you have many fields, many of them that you can venture into. That is the beauty of software engineering. For accounting, you can be a managerial accountant, you can be other type of accountant, but software engineering, you have system analyst, requirement engineer, tester, programmer, UX UI designer, There are many of them. If you start mentioning them, you say, ah, it's too much. So this is what I will do for you. Let me ask ChatGPT, what fields can be extracted out of software engineering? Just ask ChatGPT. So that we'll start the practical today. So please bring out your phone, type ChatGPT, and then press enter on Google. Okay, let's do practical. Sharp, sharp. Sharp, sharp. Now, those of you online, please bring out your phone. On your phone, just swipe down a bit and search fields that can be extracted from software engineering on ChatGPT. Ah, Kenny Gabriel is telling us X's is characteristics. This guy went to my secondary school, I'm sure. Okay. Oneness UJ is saying encourage them and appreciate their efforts. Yes. When your staff or when your team member do well, you appreciate them and you distribute the credits. Okay. There is no I in a what? In a team. It's a we effort, right? And then when a team member does not play the ball the way it's supposed to be played, you query the team member. So that everybody, because one thing you need to understand when working, you have situations whereby one work is dependent on another work. And if that work is not done, then the other one will not be able to be done. We'll not be able to do the next one if we don't do the previous one. Okay? So we need to be able to do everyone needs to be able to do his own part so that we have a seamless process. Okay? So what fields can you see? Software architects. Uh-huh. Application developers. Any other one? Cybersecurity analysts. Any other one? There are many of them, like I said. Okay? So let's move on. Importance of software engineering. Welcome. Is the air condition on? Okay. Let's say we'll turn this AC if face me small because I sweat. One lie. The AC is supposed to look me face to face. And now aftermath. All right, let's move on. Now, what is the importance of software? It reduces what? Complexity. Let me give you a simple example. Why we say software reduces complexity. Previously, during my father's era, if you want to withdraw money, you write a check. You take that check to the bank, and the bank will process that check and give you what? Money, cash. You come out with a bag, and there are people that are watching you. And then before this is going on, they follow you in a car. And then you hear stories of, hey, he just went to the bank, he came out and people start following him, and before you know, they stole the money. Right? If you want to travel by road back then, you have to have what? Cash. You have to have cash. Armed robbers stay on where? On the road. And then they collect the what? The cash. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. This era, for you to send money to somebody, that is even the worst one during my father's era. The person is using GT, and you are using Savannah. You have to first of all go to Savannah, withdraw the money, you follow queue, and then go to Zenith, follow another queue to Bank of the North back then, and then you deposit the money there, which is what? A lengthy process. If you don't take care, you spend a day doing that. And right now, you can just bring out your phone and boom, it has gone. Right? So it reduces what? Complexity. In your sitting room, you bring your phone, you do ta 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 ta, boom, it has gone. Hmm? Minimize costs, effectiveness, reliability. Why most of us now prefer to transfer money from our main bank to OPay, and then from OPay to another main bank? Why? Reliability. You have a bank account that can transfer directly from First Bank to GT. But your fear is, I don't want to say, I will transfer from First Bank and then GT will say, I have not received it. First Bank will say, I have sent it. And then before you know, it's going at 5 in the morning, you're in front of bank trying to argue with bank, no evidence. So what do? You now transfer money from this to this, and then you move it forward. Okay? Decrease time, and so on. Okay? Large software systems, that is reducing complexity. No worry about it. You tell me so tired. If it's my copy, tell me so. There's no water. I know I have asthma, so from time to time it tends to misbehave, especially when I'm trying to bring up good ideas or trying to tell people something important. Whenever I'm listening and I'm listening things that doesn't have impact, it will just, you look for it, you don't even see it. Now, when I start to do something important, you just cough every time. I will survive by God's grace. Large software systems are always complicated and challenging to process. Now, imagine we don't have software and we want to take a flight. Just imagine the difficulty. First of all, the booking. Then going to the airport, confirm. Then before you know what's going on, for them to even find your name in the list of, and then they'll tell you somebody has not even brought your name from where you do the booking to the airport, and the flight is about to happen in the next 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So many inconsistencies all over the place. So many duplication of duties. That is why you see CBN building road, Ministry of Nuclear something. You see them building road in one local government. When we have Ministry of Works, duplication of what? Duty. We have Ministry of Agriculture that's supposed to give loans to farmers to farm rice. CBN is giving them loan directly. Duplication of what? Duties. Everyone should be able to what? Hold their duty and do it effectively. So without software, we'll I don't even think about it seriously. Because what's controlling a national grid? It's not the hardware. It's a hardware, but it's not the man with this thing. No, the software process. Most of them are automated. Okay? Software engineering divides big problem into smaller problems and then solve each smaller problem to what? To have a complete solution to the big problem. That is called divide and what? Conquer. Divide and what? Conquer. And that is why when I tell you 5 times 25, you first of all break it down a bit. Say 25, okay, I have 5. Then I have 20 here. 20 times that is 100. And then you take the other one and you add it to the other one and you have what? 1 to what? 5. But then, if you think of it, when you hear this problem, you try as much as possible to start giving a solution. But when the solution is too big, you start breaking the problem into smaller pieces and trying to keep memories of the smaller answers that you have to have what? A whole answer. And that's what software engineering does. All small problems are solved independently to each other and then integrated to produce the software products. Okay, so in developing software, at the end of the day, you'll be developing them as modules, individual modules. So you have modules for registering students, you have modules for results, you have modules for payments, and you have modules for this, modules for that, and then you integrate them at the end of the process. Okay. A lot of resources are required to develop large-scale software systems. As such, manpower, software, license, and hardware are required. Okay, that is minimizing cost. Now, previously, for you to own a computer, you have to be. I can remember back then when growing up, among all of our friends, only one of us have a computer in their house. Only one of our friend has a computer in their house, and all of us will pack ourselves like ducklings and go to their house. And then when we decided we are going to go down and operate the computer, no, we're going to go there and wait for them to bring light first, because there is no light back then. And then when they bring the light, they on the computer. He owns the computer because all of us are scared because we will not on it and they say something, we spoil something. So this has to be him that will go and put it on, put the monitor on, and then he put up the game that we want to play, carries, and then we'll take turns playing the carries. And then when it's not your turn and they want to send somebody to go and buy something for them, they call one of us to go and we turn errand boys and we don't mind. We don't mind them. At least we are doing the computer. We are playing game. It's a non-starter for us. Right now, every child knows a computer. Right now, you see a small child now, you pick up your phone and you don't even, some apps you don't even know they exist. And then you just do tan, 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 and then you see him playing game. You don't even know where it came from. There's one to play store on your data. Download the game and start playing. How old is this kid? They tell you he's 3.5. Software engineering provides systematic means of having regular interactions and obtain a budget estimate. The software engineering, you can be able to have an interaction and you have an estimate of what a project can cost, because you know what is required to develop the project. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine an architect that doesn't know how to estimate how much a building will cost. When a client asks you, based on my explanation, how much do you think I'm going to spend? You say, oh, I don't know. Let me go and invest. Let me go and check. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. But you're saying, based on the number of blocks that we will need, based on the number of bags of cement that we will need, based on workmanship, based on the air conditioner we're going to install, the this, the that, those, everything, the transformer, the this, the that, we're looking at somewhere around 200 million naira. So this guy, give me is high, but at least he has given me something to work with. Now it's for me to go and hustle 200 million watts naira, all the best. Okay. One of the main criteria to measuring project success, and yet the most challenging, is delivering the project on time. Now, software engineering projects is hardly used. We try to provide the project on time, but hardly do we provide projects on time. That is one problem that is challenging to many software engineers. The reason is because sometimes you have changing requirements. Sometimes you have so many issues that might arise. The programmer that you want to use to develop the software might get in, and then you have to look for another programmer. There are many things that can lead to what? To this. Now, handling big projects, I think this you can read. Big projects are not done in a couple of days, and they need a lot of work planning and management. And to invest 6-7 months of a company, it requires a lot of planning, a lot of direction, testing, and maintenance. Companies provide many resources for the planning of software to be completed. So handling a big project without any problem, the company has to go for software engineering methods. For you to be able to take on big projects, you need to use software engineering method. Otherwise, he that does not plan is planning to fail. Hmm? And while we're talking about this planning, don't forget this planning involves money too. I don't know how many of you have planned to travel and you're not putting money as part of the equation. It's not possible, but so, reliable software reliability is the probability that the software will execute for a particular period of time without failure. Okay? Software engineering provide models for software quality measurement and evaluation. Effectiveness means getting the desired result or doing the right thing. Okay? Achieving the mission and goal, generating satisfied customer, producing work of high quality, and so on. Computer science by software engineering. Computer science is concerned with theory and fundamentals. Okay? Theory and what? Fundamentals. This field involves the understanding and application of both abstract and what? Concrete. Concrete what? Knowledge. Software engineering is a field largely concerned with application of engineering process to create, maintain, design, and design of software for variety of different purposes. And then this continues. Employment. Where can you get hired? IT firms, manufacturing industry, financial services, and public utilities like OPay. How many of you have seen OPay branch? Hmm? But do they have customer care? Do they respond to people's complaints? They do. Job descriptions for software engineers include things like analyzing user requirements, testing code, refining and writing if necessary, research and design new software programs, developing existing programs, integrating software engineering products, creating technical specifications, writing operational documents, and so on and so forth. Job descriptions, you have things like USI designer, system analyst, sales, marketing professionals, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I will allow you to answer these questions. I'll be back in a few for me to come and assess what you've done. Okay. And then when I come back, we will discuss a bit more. Those online, please go through the questions and attempt them. I'll give you where to submit your answers to. Thank you. After I'm coming. Okay, how many card? How about you have ChatGPT now? I just told you about ChatGPT. Use it. Um, or actually, a moment. So how many of us have done? Ask ChatGPT to give you the answer. How will this allow? How will they allow us to use ChatGPT to know our egg? Have you? All right. Those of us online, please open a document on your phone and type the question. There's another class coming up for Group B. Um, have I sent the attendance this thing? The attendance link? Have you gotten the attendance sheets? Please get the attendance sheet because our class is almost over. I need to. While I'm at, please help me find Ahmed Ode to get the attendance sheets. You send me the attendance link. Okay, so we'll be posting the attendance link on your chat, and then you can be able to get it from there. Um, which one is the attendance? Okay, this is attendance. This is it, Nabi. Okay. Now, I've sent it to the group. Okay. Okay. Who is done? Technology. Once we finish this class, we will understand. Yes. You're done? All right. Well, let me see what you've done. I'm going to find out. Yes, sir. At the moment,
Discuss whether she's here or she's not upstairs.
I think she's here. Yeah. She's here. Then.
Sorry, who is
She's outside.
outside?
Mm.
Asking it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Is anyone? We have one person that say he's done, but then he said he did it on his phone. So you actually ask them to and do not share. Just because you look at that extra very well about the script, very well. But one time the question will give you an answer. And then if you ask the question, you can limit the number of words you should use. Otherwise, you give you 3 paragraphs, or 5 paragraphs, or 10. You have to tell it in less than 2 paragraphs, less than 200 words, or less than 100 words, or less than 50 words. Explain this. Explain it like you explain to a child. And then you have a beautiful interaction with it. Okay? Are we on the same page? What's the time now? 10:30. Okay. Um, let's see, yes, let's. All right. They're bringing it. The attendance, those online have already started marking the attendance. Those are physical, are about to start marking their own. Let me get the attendance sheet, please. Okay, no problem. Similar content. No problem. Anato, can you share the second class link with you? Okay, okay. I'll have to be online. Yeah, I'm, I'm taking this one. I want to go and work too. I have some software development life cycles to cycle. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, please. We need to this is extensive training, so we need to put as many things as possible so that when the trainings go back home they can relax and go through it. We'll make it available soon. We are still trying to look towards which platform to use as your content management system for the students. So that's all. Okay. This is one of the reasons why we wanted to come earlier so that we test all of these things, the microphones and the rest. Yeah. You still have 25 minutes left for me. So, all right. I'll be giving the podium to the next facilitator or the actual facilitator for the course. Me, I'm just here to get you started. So I'll be giving the podium to Engineer Chidi, and I think you continue from here. You can complete the assessment and then create a Google form for them to submit the assignment that you give them, so you can be able to assess them. Okay. Yes, sir. So let's test that. Which one? No, I'm not looking. We have capable hands here that can do it. See, I'm not here now. Okay. All right, guys. Those of you online, I will be taking my leave now. I hope I'm not too funny. Engineer Chidi will do a wonderful job with you guys. So please give me a maximum cooperation and try as much as possible to jot what you can, okay, and get as much knowledge as you can, okay. All right, thank you very much, and have a lovely Afternoon. Does anyone have any question before I go? Okay, so can I should I answer the question or should I answer the questions?
You go ahead.
No,
Okay. No, if they answer, I can answer.
okay, so yeah, I think this is yours. Okay, now let me take this guy out. Okay. Anatu, can you take me off stage?
You have to guide me how to use it.
No, we'll guide you now. No problem, that one.
I will open the display on my laptop.
Hmm. Am I off stage? Don't worry, I'm out.
I'll say it next week.
No, I facilitated for bids, so I'm conversant with the